Continental Tire, Coach's Corner. Coach, for any surface, every season, there's a Continental Tire that delivers superior performance and unparalleled safety. Give your vehicle an upgrade with Continental's maximum performance tires. For more info on the tire that's right for you, check out ContinentalTire.com. From speedway to driveway, Continental puts you in the driver's seat. Continental Tire, Coach's Corner. Nick Saban, Alabama head coach, joins us on the Dan Patrick Show. What do you listen to when you're in the car on the way to work?
I got about 120 songs between the Rolling Stones, the Eagles, Elton John, Michael Jackson, a couple Al Greens. We got kind of the myriad, and just play that iPod or whatever it is.
I saw where Bill Belichick went on tour with the Rolling Stones a couple of years ago. Have you ever thought about doing something like that in the off season?
Well, we went last year when they were in Atlanta. We went to the concert, but I never ever thought about taking the time to do that. But I will say, when Bill and I were together in Cleveland, he and I used to sneak out and, go see various concerts. We went to see the Eagles, Joe Walsh, we Ringo Starr. We'd just kind of sneak out and do it every now and then.
Better singer, you or Bill?
I'm a terrible singer, so he got me there.
Doesn't he like to drum? Does he have his own drums, or is he a musician?
Well, I don't know about that. I just know that one of the reasons that I got into sports was my grandma. Grandma Saban, made everybody play the accordion, all the kids. So I used to hate going to lessons. I used to hate practicing. So I found out about 9 years old that if I played baseball and football and all that stuff, that's the one way I could get out of having to take accordion lessons. That's how I got into sports. But I love music now.
So the accordion is the reason why you're coaching at Alabama?
I think so, indirectly.
He's Nick Saban, Alabama head coach. They got Arkansas coming up next game. What's the difference in your job from Sunday to Friday as opposed to Saturday? Like the difference in work or what you put in?
Well, I think everything that you're doing from Sunday to Friday is really, you're trying to look at the technical aspects of your team and the other team, and you do it sort of in a systematic way, whether it's, third down and, red area on Thursday, and on Wednesday, and maybe Tuesday it's goal line and short yardage and regular downs, and today it's 2 minute and something else. So, you're always trying to systematically, technically look at what do you need to teach the players, how do they need to do it. And then when the game comes, it becomes more of a game strategy. What's the situation in the game? What part of this do we pull out and use relative to what they're doing? So it becomes more of an implementation of the things that you practice and what you try to do. And hopefully those things are working. If they're not, you have to make adjustments along the way.
If I'm your assistant coach and I disagree with you during a game, how do I do that?
Everybody can disagree. I mean, I'm always looking for input. I'm always looking for a better way. I think everybody should have their opinion. But ultimately, I think at any organization, somebody has to be the leader and a decision has to get made. And when the decision gets made, everybody's got to take it and run with it and do the best they can to make it work. And that doesn't mean that every decision you make is the right decision. But there's several ways to skin a cat. But the best way to have a chance to make your way work is you go out and execute it effectively. And, that comes down to the coaches actually getting it to the players and the players actually buying into it so that they can go out and execute it. And I think where people sort of don't get it is you always talk about practicing, and a lot of people practice to get it right. As soon as I get this, okay, I'm finished practicing. Well, but really, you practice until you can't get it wrong, and that's how you get the kind of execution that you need. And that sometimes is something that the guys on your team really need to understand, that that repetition is what's important to get the kind of execution that you want.
Can I have your permission to make a T-shirt out of that slogan you just gave us? Practice until you can't get it wrong.
It's not my slogan. Somebody else gave it to me. I don't invent any of these things. I hear them and write them down and use them where they fit. So I'm sure there's somebody else out there you need to get permission from.
How much football do you watch other than your team?
Not really that much. When you work 75, 80 hours a week, and that's probably not counting the game, on Saturdays, there isn't a whole lot of time left over when you're watching football on Sunday from 12 o'clock until 10 o'clock at night, and then you run home and sit in your chair for 45 minutes before you go to bed. Then you want to watch some more football on TV. It's not that appealing to me. But we do try to do an analytics of games that are played, because situations come up in games that, from a game management standpoint, sometimes it's good to review. You never think that a certain situation is going to come up, and it does, and you're not prepared for it. So we do a little study on that every week, and we have people who do that, but that's not like watching the game.
Can you understand what happened at LSU with Les Miles? I know you coached there. I know it's a long time ago, but you look at what people produce, and it's what have you done for me lately? So I'm curious what you saw with that situation, that decision.
Well, look, I think Les Miles is an outstanding coach. I think he did a fantastic job at LSU. I think his record speaks for itself. I know it's been one of our most difficult games and some of the best competitive venues we've had against them and his teams in terms of the way they compete, the way they play. And so I have a lot of respect for what he's done, what he's accomplished, the kind of coach he is. And I basically think from a player's perspective and the college game that, firing people in the middle of the season or during the season is, not something that's endearing to college football or the spirit of college football. And maybe I'm like crazy to think that we can have that, because I think, I don't think college football is a business, but it certainly is revenue producing. And I think some of those aspects, really affect the decision making in things like this. But I think the spirit of college football and young people that are college student athletes, they need leadership. They need a good example. They need people, and they don't need these kind of changes during the season. But that's just my old-fashioned opinion.
Have you been to a tailgate before?
No.
Never?
Never. Not that I can ever recall. I don't ever, there's very few games that I ever, other than playing the game, that you go to as a fan.
Maybe you should just surprise somebody one day and just show up at a tailgate, grab a hot dog, and go in and coach a football game.
That, I guess, it would be an experience that would be unique, and I'd be interested enough to see if I would enjoy it, actually.
You might enjoy it. It's not like you can have a beer or something, but you could just walk up, surprise some folks, and then grab a brat and head on into the stadium.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Hey, it's great to talk to you, Coach. Sounds like you're at work, so good luck this weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, man. Nice talking to you. Have a good day.
All right.
Thank you.
Ask the question. No tailgate. Nick Saban. Told you. Never. Yeah, Paul.
That one coach, that 1 week out, aren't you sad? He's a guy who likes to have a good time. You could hear that.
Not during the football season.
What about when he's a kid? His dad coached the Bills.
Yeah.
Buffalo. That's a great tailgate town.
Great thing to take your kids to.
He said he hasn't been to a tailgate. Nick Saban joining us courtesy of Continental Tire, Coach's Corner. Coach.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.